Bombay Stock Exchange Brokers Forum was incorporated in the year 1993. BSE Brokers Forum is a society under the Societies Act 1860 to support and coordinate on behalf of Brokers Forum. It facilitates for the smooth functioning of trade and business. It is the link between the regulators and other government bodies relating to the markets. Brokers Forum has time and again come up and made representation for the larger interest of communities. India is seeing and experiencing an economy so dynamic and ever-changing that Brokers Forum is acting as a facilitator in filling the gaps so that the business may shore up their competitiveness and enhance their global reach.
Greetings of the day to all the members of the Bombay Stock Exchange Brokers Forum. This is the second series on the goods and services tax. What we did in the last session was we understood what is GST, and with examples we understood the implications of GST on specific stockbroking transactions. And we identified three areas, the top three areas which would be concerning the stockbroking community was the rate of tax, the place of supply related aspects, and the changes which will be required in the IT environment. Let's see what has changed between October 2015 and September 2016 since then when we did the first series. When we did the last series, the government had recently then announced the business processes for registration, returns and payments. Since then, lot of things has moved for implementation of GST. The Rajya Sabha has cleared the bill. The Lok Sabha has cleared the bill. When we are talking about the bill, we are talking about the Constitutional Amendment Bill. It required ratification by the states, and government was targeting to get the ratification from at least 15 states, which is 50% of the states had to ratify this. Government was targeting 30 days and they could get the ratification within 23 days. Post the ratification, the President of India has approved the Constitutional Amendment Bill. The government has notified the Constitutional Amendment Bill, and now the Constitutional Amendment Bill has become a Constitution Amendment Act. And on 15th of September, the Constitutional Amendment Act was notified. Thereafter, the GST Council has been formed. The first meeting of GST Council has already happened as we speak, and the second meeting is scheduled tomorrow, that is 30th of September. The model GST law has been announced between our last interaction and now. 2 days back, the government has announced the rules and the formats for the invoices, payments, related aspects, returns, refunds, registrations. So what we are observing is that the government is working at a speed which is unprecedented. No doubt the change of GST itself is a change which is unprecedented. And the speed at which the government is working on GST now is unprecedented. The government may be ready for GST, but the businesses probably are not ready. And I would make an observation that the businesses, especially the stockbroking community, is also not geared up or ready as it should be for the GST implementation by the forthcoming 1st April. So let's address the key areas which we had identified then. Are there any changes in the key areas? I would say no, there are no changes. If I have to put the top three aspects for the stockbroking community, I would say that the rate of tax, the place of supply rules and the relevant changes in the IT environment are the top three aspects from the impact perspective and GST readiness perspective. On the rate of tax, we have been hearing a lot between 18 to 20%. The rate of tax could be between 18 to 20%. So on the broking fees which we charge on retail, on institutional sales or commodities broking, the rate of tax which is currently on services including cess 15% as the effective rate, will go up between from 15 to 18 or 20%. The next key issue is the place of supply rules. We were not aware of the place of supply that could be applied to stockbroking services when we did the October 2015, and then we had considered two place of supply, where it could be either the location of the stockbroker, that is the service provider, or it could be the location of the investor or to whom we are providing the services. In the draft model law, it has been stated that the place of supply will be the location of the recipient of the service. And government had recently released an FAQ explaining the model GST law. There also they have clarified through an example that if a person who is buying stock or who is a customer of the stockbroker is in Goa and the broker is in Delhi, then the place of supply will be the location of the customer, that is Goa. But the aspect is not as simple as that, because to understand whether I need to levy a central GST and SGST or to regard it as an intrastate transaction, or should I be levying an IGST to regard it as an IGST transaction, we need to determine the location of the service provider. That would mean that where is the stockbroker himself located at? It is possible that a stockbroking house is having a headquarter in Mumbai, it would have branches all across, and the customers would be again all across India. In the example which has been cited in the FAQ, let's take that example, that the investor is located in Goa. The branch which is serving that customer, incidentally in the example, is the Delhi branch. Delhi branch of the stockbroking house is serving a customer or an investor in Goa. However, the contract notes or the invoices are being raised from Mumbai or are being issued from Mumbai or they are being generated in Mumbai. The question which will arise is that where is the location of the service provider? Is it Mumbai in our example, or is it Delhi? In both the situation, the tax payable would be IGST, and in both the situation, the tax which one will charge as IGST will go to Goa. So as far as the Goa state is concerned, it will get the IGST. The question is, where do you pay tax? Should you be paying tax in Mumbai or should you be paying tax in Delhi? And where should you be doing the compliances? Though the nature of the tax is not changing, it will be IGST only. So as far as the place of supply is concerned, not only we need to identify the location of the recipient, but we also need to identify the location of the provider of our own services which we are providing. And the place of supply is equally important. Let's say that if the law recognizes Mumbai as a location, then the question will be, what happens to the input tax credit which is getting accumulated or the goods and services which are received in the Delhi branch? In that situation, there are two things which is possible. The law is currently not clear whether you will distribute the input services in respect of the services which are received at Delhi as through the input service distributor mechanism to Mumbai. In that case, the law currently only envisages distribution of credit in respect of services. But the branch in Delhi could be also using and would be using goods, and they would be paying GST on goods. The law currently doesn't envisage distribution of GST which is paid on goods by the branches. The second probability which emerges is that there is a self-supply by the branch of Delhi to the head office at Mumbai. And if this transaction is regarded as a self-supply, then there would be no credit accumulation or there will be no credit blockages. So the place of supply is very critical, not only from the perspective of where do you pay tax, which tax do you pay, but it will also have an implication on the credits and blockages. The next key aspect is the changes in the IT environment. The core software which one uses for generating the contract notes, that will have to be tweaked possibly. If you are offering services whereby people are able to do the transactions on the internet themselves, that core software will have to be tweaked for the purpose of GST. If you have created an interface of this particular softwares and solution and tools to have interface with the accounting softwares, that interface will also need to be tweaked, and the accounting implications and the changes in accounting will have to be done. Also, the effective controls and systems needs to be put for availment and utilization of the credit, because that is the bigger change for the stockbroking services. The next aspect is, will GST come on 1st April 2017? The way things are moving on, it definitely looks like that GST will come on 1st April 2017. What the Finance Secretary had mentioned some time back was they could look at extension maximum by 3 months, but only if a business case and strong points are brought forward by the business community as to why they are not able to implement GST by 1st April. After that, the Finance Minister, the GST Council, the Prime Minister of the country, everybody has reiterated that they would like to implement GST on 1st April, and they will go ahead with that as a date. If you look at how much the government can extend the GST if they want to, the Constitutional Amendment Act now provides that for 1 year from the date of notification, if there are any aberrations in the state laws, they can remain so. So the maximum is 1 year from the date which was notified. So around by 16th September 2017, government has to implement GST. So at the most, if there is some extensions, we can look at 3 months extension. But I would urge the businesses that we should prepare that the GST is coming on 1st April. We do not see now the extensions happening. The government is fully geared up. The IT changes are happening. The GST network is getting prepared. The investment required in the hardware is being passed. Recently, Cabinet has also cleared the investment which the CBC is requiring for the changes in their hardware and software. One another area, though not as equally important than the one which we spoke about on rate of tax, place of supply, and the changes in the IT environment, is the valuation. On what value do I pay GST? In the past, we had a lot of disputes with respect to what will get constituted within the calculation of the broking fee, whether the stamp duty and whatever charges are being paid to stock exchanges, whether they will get included for the purpose of computing the taxes. That clarity currently is not available. So that could be one area which we need to look out for. It's my personal belief that in one area we could have done more probably as far as engagement with the government is concerned. To best of my information and knowledge, I think we have not done enough on the representations as far as the stockbroking community is concerned. This is for the first time we are seeing that the government is engaging with the trade bodies and businesses, and they are giving complete patient hearing to the businesses. They are understanding their point of view, and in our experience at many places they have understood and made changes in the law. I think as a stockbroking community, that engagement has to get increased or enhanced, and whatever our perspectives may not be necessarily pain points, but what is our perspective, what is the right way the law should be introduced, those aspects can be brought before the government, and effective dialogue can happen such that we are aware that what is that they are thinking and how they are thinking, and we can explain them our perspective also. I think that is one area where the stockbroking community can enhance its engagement with the government. So the purpose of this interaction was to provide you an update on GST as to what's happening, what could be the key aspects, and when is the rollout likely to happen. Hope this was useful to you. We would be happy to receive questions. You can write to Bombay Stock Exchange Brokers Forum, and we will definitely respond to you. Thank you for your patient hearing. Thank you, members.